In early 2025, the world's attention turned once again to gold. Markets trembled as geopolitical tensions simmered from East Asia to the Middle East, and global gold prices surged to unprecedented heights. Central banks scrambled to bolster their reserves, investors flocked to bullion, and families from Mumbai to Manhattan dusted off heirloom jewelry, reassured by the timeless promise of gold. It's a pattern as old as civilization itself. When uncertainty reigns, the allure of owning real, tangible gold returns with force, outshining digital assets and paper money alike. In the clamour for stability, gold stands as a silent bulwark against the unknown, its value immune to inflation and political whim. Yet amid the feverish rush for this precious metal, few are aware of a place where gold is not hoarded in vaults or locked away in safes, but is instead created and flung into the sky daily. Far from the world's trading floors and bustling cities lies a place of almost mythic isolation: Mount Erebus in Antarctica. Here, in an environment so extreme and hostile that only the hardiest forms of life persist, nature orchestrates a phenomenon that seems torn from the pages of fantasy. Each day, this remote volcano spews microscopic particles of gold into the polar winds, scattering them across the frozen expanse. This isn't a legend or a prospector's dream. It's a scientifically documented reality. Mount Erebus stands as the world's southernmost active volcano and, astonishingly, a natural gold factory. The story of gold on Earth is one of mystery and scarcity. For millennia, humanity has scoured the planet for this rare metal, prying it from riverbeds, mountains, and underground veins. In total, experts estimate that we have pulled about 180,000 tons of gold from the Earth's crust throughout recorded history. To the uninitiated, this sounds immense. But set against the size of our planet and the depths that lie beneath our feet, it's almost nothing. Most of Earth's gold is believed to reside deep within the planet's interior, trapped far below the crust in regions we may never reach, no matter how advanced our technology becomes. Unlocking the secrets of gold formation has long fascinated scientists. Recent breakthroughs from the University of Queensland have shed new light on this age-old puzzle. Their research reveals that gold is not simply waiting to be found, but is forged through dynamic interactions between water and seismic activity deep within the Earth. As tectonic plates shift and grind, they create immense pressure and heat. Water, percolating through tiny fractures, interacts with these subterranean forces, dissolving and transporting heavy metals like gold. Under the right conditions, these metals precipitate out, accumulating in magma chambers or veins. This process, taking place over millions of years, explains why gold is so rare on the surface and why active volcanoes, where the Earth's internal processes are closest to the open air, play a crucial role in its formation and redistribution. Mount Erebus's own legend began in 1841, when British explorer James Clark Ross first set eyes on its smoking summit during his Antarctic expedition. Located on Ross Island, Erebus quickly became recognized as one of the most isolated and forbidding landmarks on the planet. Rising to 3,794 meters, it is crowned by an oval crater spanning between 500 and 600 meters across and plunging about 100 meters deep. But Erebus is more than just a towering monument of ice and fire. It is a geologic anomaly. Among the more than 1,500 active volcanoes on Earth, only 3 are known to possess a permanent lava lake, and Erebus is the southernmost of them all. Since 1972, it has bubbled and erupted without pause, providing scientists with a living laboratory to study the mechanics of an open volcanic system in real time. This combination of relentless activity and frozen isolation makes Erebus unique. Its lava lake churns day and night, even as the surrounding landscape remains locked in perpetual winter. Here, life and death, creation and destruction, coexist in a delicate, ever-changing balance. For decades, Erebus has beckoned to volcanologists, glaciologists, and adventurers alike, its mysteries as deep and impenetrable as the Antarctic night. What truly sets Erebus apart, however, is not its remoteness or its unyielding eruptions, but the gold it conjures from the depths of the earth. Unlike the fabled rivers of gold, or the legendary mother lode sought by prospectors, the riches of Erebus are measured in dust, invisible to the naked eye, yet precious all the same. Every day, the volcano releases an estimated 80 grams of gold into the atmosphere, a sum worth roughly $6,000 at current prices. These particles, each about 60 microns across, smaller than a human hair, drift on the polar winds, carried as far as 1,000 kilometers from their fiery birthplace. The science behind this phenomenon is as fascinating as it is improbable. Deep within Erebus, gold is vaporized by the intense heat and pressure of the magma chamber. When eruptions force this gold vapor out of the volcano's vent, it is suddenly exposed to the frigid Antarctic air. The result is a process akin to natural distillation. As the vapor cools, it condenses into minute solid particles, forming a fine mist of gold dust. This so-called gold rain is unique to Erebus. Never before has such a transformation been directly observed in nature. The implications are profound. Not only does Erebus challenge our understanding of how precious metals are formed and distributed on Earth, but it also raises tantalizing questions about what other riches might lie hidden in the planet's most extreme environments. The gold dust of Erebus is not confined to the mountain alone. It is carried on the wind, settling on the ice, the snow, and even the ocean far from the volcano itself. This invisible bounty, however, remains out of reach, its value more symbolic than practical. The obstacles to mining Erebus's gold are formidable. First and foremost, the gold is dispersed over such a vast area that collecting it would be akin to gathering fog. Even the most sophisticated modern mining techniques would falter in the face of such microscopic scattered particles. Filtering gold from tons of frozen rock, snow, and ice would require technology and energy far beyond what is currently possible. The cost of extraction would dwarf the value of the gold itself, rendering any such enterprise economically unviable. Environmental and health hazards add further layers of complexity. Erebus is not just a gold-spewing wonder. It is a cauldron of toxic gases, belching out sulfur dioxide, carbon dioxide, and nitrogen oxides. These emissions make prolonged human presence perilous, causing respiratory distress and environmental damage. The volcano's volatility is a constant threat. In 2021, a massive eruption recorded by Chinese satellites sent dark plumes stretching hundreds of kilometers across the ice, a stark reminder of the dangers lurking beneath Erebus's icy surface. Geographical isolation compounds the challenge. Ross Island, home to Erebus, is encircled by glaciers and sea ice for most of the year. The Antarctic climate is unforgiving, with temperatures plunging well below zero and storms capable of halting even the most prepared expeditions. Accessing Erebus requires months of planning, specialized equipment, and multinational cooperation. Even scientific teams, equipped with the best resources available, face daunting logistical hurdles simply to reach the volcano, let alone conduct research or attempt extraction. Looking ahead, the future may hold new possibilities. As technology advances, humanity may one day find ways to tap into the resources or energy of places like Erebus. Until then, the volcano stands as a symbol of the delicate interplay between creation and destruction, a monument to the forces that shape our world. But Erebus's story is not one of science alone. It is also a place marked by tragedy, most notably the disaster of Air New Zealand Flight 901. On November 28, 1979, what was meant to be a scenic sightseeing flight over the Antarctic turned to horror. Flight TE901, carrying 237 passengers and 20 crew, crashed into the slopes of Erebus, killing everyone on board. It remains the deadliest disaster in New Zealand's history. The crash was initially attributed to pilot error, with investigators blaming the crew for flying too low. But as the facts came to light, a more complex and troubling picture emerged. Unbeknownst to the pilots, Air New Zealand had altered the flight path in the navigation system the night before, placing the aircraft directly in the path of the volcano. The pilots, trusting their instruments and unaware of the change, were flying blind into disaster. To make matters worse, a phenomenon known as sector whiteout, where the bright Antarctic snow and sky merged, erasing the horizon, left the mountain all but invisible. The aftermath was a storm of controversy. The initial inquiry exonerated the airline, placing the blame squarely on the flight crew. But a royal commission of inquiry, led by Justice Peter Mahan, uncovered evidence of systemic failures and a corporate cover-up. The navigation error, the lack of communication with the pilots, and the airline's attempts to shift responsibility all came under intense scrutiny. The phrase "an orchestrated litany of lies" entered the New Zealand lexicon, forever tied to the tragedy. Public outrage was swift and fierce. Families demanded answers, and the nation grappled with the scale of the loss. In a country with just 3 million citizens at the time, almost everyone was connected to the victims in some way. The pain was personal, the grief palpable. It took 30 years for Air New Zealand to issue a formal apology, not for the crash itself, but for the mishandling of the investigation and the treatment of the victims' families. The legacy of Flight 901 endures. New Zealand's aviation safety standards were overhauled, setting new benchmarks for navigation, ethics, and crisis management. The Erebus disaster is now a case study in corporate accountability and the importance of transparency in the face of tragedy. At the base of the mountain, a memorial stands in silent tribute to the 257 lives lost, a stark reminder of the cost of human error and the power of nature. Erebus, in the end, is a mountain of paradox. It is both a giver and a taker, a volcano that showers the world with gold dust, yet claimed the lives of hundreds in a single, devastating moment. It stands as a testament to the Earth's dual nature, beautiful and deadly, rich and desolate, nurturing knowledge but demanding respect. For scientists, Erebus is a gateway to understanding our planet's deep workings, a source of endless fascination and discovery. For dreamers and futurists, it represents untapped potential, a frozen vault of resources waiting for the dawn of new technology. And for the people of New Zealand, it is a symbol of loss, resilience, and the hard lessons of history. One day, perhaps, humanity will return to Erebus not simply to study, but to responsibly unlock its treasures. Until then, the mountain will remain a silent sentinel in the southernmost reaches of the earth, a place where gold falls from the sky and the mysteries of nature continue to unfold.